Ladies and gentlemen, coming to you live from the Lucky Dog studio in a hidden location somewhere in the upper Midwest of the United States of America, it's a brother making his own way but with all the wrong opinions. Welcome to the Morning Night Live with your host, the one and only P-Dog Knight.
Let's try that again. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Morning Night Live. I'm your host, Marty, also known as P-Dog Knight on the internet, and welcome back to the P-Dog Knight channel, where we got a lot to talk about today. And I decided, at the suggestion of somebody who made a comment on YouTube, I decided to change up how I start the show, and this is get the intro out of the way and just start the show because. Wait, what the hell's going on here? That's not working. There we go. Because, well, I don't know, because just to make the intro less long. So this is how I'm going to do it from now on, at least for a while, see how it works. And we'll see what you think. Anyway, there's a lot to talk about on the show today. A whole bunch of stuff trending. Why is this? My computer's all messed up. Whole bunch of stuff trending. And so we'll get to that and, do what we do, but of course, first, so I got to remember when I do this way. Let me go back. Let me start over. Welcome to the Morning Night Live. I'm your host, Marty, also known as P-Dog Knight on the internet. Welcome back to the P-Dog Knight channel on this Tuesday, the 20th of February, 2024. 2 days away from Lady Boomer and my anniversary. Well, yeah, 2 days away. It's our 31st anniversary, so I probably put something that has to do with 31 in the chat. Or if you want to drop here, put $31 in the tip jar today. That'll work. I'll take that, and then I can do something nice for us since we're not going to Florida this week. We moved our vacation back to April, but there's a bunch of stuff on the docket today. And so before I do that, let me put my face out here at big time. Hello, good morning. And let's say hi to everybody, because that's what I do every morning. I say hi to the people in the chat. First in the chat over on Rumble is Mr. Avocados Diabli, who gets the bell. Thank you for joining us this morning. Also, Mr. Mike Savage Blarg. Over there, and there's one other person watching. I don't know who it is. Somebody. You're there. You're there. You're there. You stare. And I cannot compare. Anyway, on YouTube, first in chat is still also Avocados Diabli gets the bell. Also, good morning, Jesse Leon, GDSOB, JB, Zed the Snarky, Kara Soldier. Who's this? I got Judithine. I got Mike Savage, Blarg. I have JB's in the house. Keenan's here. Keenan is back. Nice to see you again. Oh, this thing skipped. Good morning. My favorite Canadian Jaeger pony. Bookworm Addicts here. Attack Alpaca. Don Julio Gulf City Biker and Trash Man. Hello. Good morning, Simon Wolfwood. Mr. Tire. Alexander the Gentleman. Lynch. That thing went all the way through. Also, good morning. Is that everybody? Am I close? It could be. Just said JB Tires. That's everybody who's here so far. If if you're in the chat on another channel or whatever, make sure you're set up on both YouTube and Rumble just in case. You know how things go. You know how things go with these YouTube channels. But also, we have some donors already, some sponsors of the show. So if you want to sponsor the show, well, we're going to do this. First in the chat, the first sponsor today was Mr. Gunfox61, and I've got to, you know what? Look, I'm going to just put one of these out here. There it is. That was Gunfox61. Top donor of the day. You are the new Streamlabs Superstar sponsor of the day. Gunfox61 dropping a Hamilton in the tip jar. And also dropped an article in here. What happened to the article, though? I moved it over. What the hell happened there? I had it right there. Well, we'll have to do it again. Let's see. There we go. Okay, we got it. All right, there it is. I have to move it over. So, because I want to make sure I get to that one first today. So we'll do that one when we get past the trending topics. Also, thank you, Tyler Alexander, dropping a small bullet in the tip jar, who says, "Here's a bit for you, Marty. Love the streams when I'm off." Oh, that's Kara Soldier. Kara Soldier, thank you for sponsoring the show. Appreciate it. Here's a bit for you. Love the streams when I'm off from work. Well, I appreciate you being a supporter of the show just by being here. That's awesome. And also, thank you, Zed the Snarky, dropping a big bullet in the tip jar. So we appreciate you too. Thank you, sponsors. If you can, great. If you can't, that's cool too, because I know what it's like out here in this hellhole that is Inflation City, USA. So anyway, okay, and Streamlabs spot's working good. All right, perfect. Let's get into things that are happening today, because I'm short on time. So let's go ahead and do that. By the way, thank you to the people who have shared the stream, Somnambule Nation in particular. And looks like some other people on here. Well, I don't know. People ask me some stupid questions on Twitter, X, whatever you call it. And I get caught up in that. Okay. But speaking of Twitter, let's talk about what's happening in the world. Now, we always have to talk about a special day, and a day is no exception to being special days. Why is P-Dog eating a cookie in the thumbnail? Well, that's a good question. For some reason, and I don't know what the reason is, but over the last like 4 or 5 days, I have been on a baking binge. Not 4 or 5 days, probably last week or so. So, and I don't know why. I just, out of the blue, I thought, oh, hey, you know what? Maybe I'll try to make some Irish soda bread. So I made some Irish soda bread last weekend. And then this week I made some peanut butter chocolate chip cookies. Okay, I made a batch, a half of my recipe, of peanut butter chocolate chip cookies, and and they were so good that I made some more yesterday. And whenever I make peanut butter chocolate chip cookies, I tend to have one in the morning, and I don't know why I decided to put one in the thumbnail. Just because. So there was no particular reason. Good morning. Hey, number one is in the house. Nice to see you. There's no real particular reason other than when I was gonna take my photo over the thumbnail, I was eating a cookie. I'm like, oh, here, I'll be eating a cookie in the thumbnail. I don't know, just to get people to ask questions like, why are you eating a cookie in the thumbnail? So there you go. That's pretty much the only reason. All right. Let's get into it, because I got to get through the show today. Now, I have so many articles today that I'm not going to get to it. I probably won't even have time to mention them. I mean, I'm talking like 40, 50 articles. A lot of good stuff in some of the media that I was checking out, and I used my aggregator, and I was like, oh, I want to talk about this. Oh, I want to talk about that. Oh, I want to talk about this. And I don't have time to do it. So at the end of the show, I put that link in the chat. And I also put it in the description of the video on Rumble and YouTube. It's called a one-tab link. Everything we talked about during that day and everything I didn't get to during the day. There's tons of articles, though, about multiple subjects. If you're interested, there's a lot of reading for you to get caught up on if you're bored. Or if you're not bored, if you just like to learn about shit. So make sure you do that. Good morning. Let's see. Special K on Acids in the house. Green Badger Outdoors is in the house. Nice to see you guys. All right. Today is a very special day, although I'm concerned about the name of this special holiday. Yes, every day has a special holiday attached to it, but I'm concerned about the name of this particular special holiday. It is National Love Your Pet Day, and I get concerned with some people because they might take that the wrong way. But anyway, it's Love Your Pet. Look, if you have pets, make sure you're taking care of them. Make sure they feel loved, but not too loved. And so everyone's putting up pictures of their pets, and I'm trying not to scroll too fast just in case there's any body parts, because some people do weird shit on these special days. There's an old lady with their little puppy there. That's a cute little puppy dog. Then there's a German Shepherd. There's a lot of dogs and cats on the National Pet Day. So people anyway, it's National Love Your Pet Day. I'm sure the veterinarians have something to do with this particular day, but it is National Love Your Pet Day. Okay, so that's one thing. Now, another thing that's trending, John Glenn is trending. You know, the astronaut John Glenn? Well, it was on this day in 1962 that John Glenn, the astronaut from the United States of America, made space history when he orbited the world 3 times in 4 hours and 55 minutes. He was the first American to orbit the Earth and was aboard NASA's Friendship 7 Mercury capsule. Glenn witnessed the devil's cigarette lighter while in flight. Now, I have no idea what that means. I don't know what the fuck the devil's cigarette lighter means. But anyway, oh shit, what the hell? I'm sorry. I just read the super chat that just came in, and my brain is really racing right now, wondering where the hell this came from. I'll tell you in a second. Anyway, so on this day in 1962, he became the first American to orbit the Earth. Did it 4 times in 4 times. They said, yeah, 3 times around the Earth in 4 hours and 55 minutes. Man, I need that the next time I travel to another country. That would be a pretty quick way to get there. So, although it might take a while to set up for that. But anyway, so John Glenn, that's congratulations, John Glenn training. Now, let me go to this super chat via Streamlabs. By the way, you can sponsor the show 24 hours a day at pdognight.live. The link is pinned up on YouTube. That is the Streamlabs link, and that is the best place to do super chats for this channel. Less hassle, and the money that you donate to the show goes to the show and not to whatever the new YouTube CEO's name is. So, but super chats from YouTube and Rumble rants from Rumble are also greatly appreciated, as with our Cash App and Venmo, and I think I got all that shit in the description. If you're, if it's off hours, you go, oh, I got an extra $7, and here, maybe I'll send it to Marty. You can do that too via Cash App and Venmo. Anyway, all right, let's see. Now this is I don't know who wrote this. Is it aphorisms? I don't know if I'm saying that right. Aphorisms you could use with the small bullet in the tip jar. Thank you very much. Aphorisms you can use. And here is the quote. Sometimes the hitchhiker you pick up gives you a blowjob. Sometimes they slit your throat. So there you go. That is some words of wisdom. Thank you very much. Aphorisms that you could use. Who could it be? Okay, it must be aphorism. That's what I said. Okay, thank you. It has to be AD. Okay, thank you. That was fan-fucking-tastic. Moving on, also trending right now today is Kurt Cobain, the lead singer of Nirvana, who ended himself, but was many think he was very an innovative and brilliant man. He was born on this day in 1967, I'm guessing. Yeah, because he would have been 57 years old. He's 3 years younger than me. He is, and he's, let's see. This is his cover of Bowie's Man Who Would Have Sold the World from Unplugged is perfect. It gets me in the feels every time. That's someone who's really into Kurt Cobain. Anyway, happy birthday, Kurt Cobain, or would have been your birthday, Kurt Cobain. Yeah, that Nirvana Unplugged episode on MTV, I was never a Nirvana fan, but that was pretty freaking brilliant. It really was. It was really, really good. I like that Unplugged series on MTV. All right, moving on. Northern Exposure is trending. Now, this is great. I loved this show when it was on, and apparently Northern Exposure, the TV series, I can't remember what network it was on, but it is going to be streaming on Amazon Prime, apparently. They're going to bring back the 3 years of Northern Exposure. That was where Janine Turner probably became most famous, one of her most famous roles. And I can't remember the guy's name, but yeah, so it was a pretty good show. And if you're interested in that kind of stuff, great. It is trending today. I don't know. All right, now let's get into some of the more serious stuff that is trending. And one of them is Fund Ukraine. Fund Ukraine. In capital letters, for that matter, Fund Ukraine is trending. And You know, let's just look at what some people are saying about Fund Ukraine. Now, the first one that's on the very first thing on this Fund Ukraine trending topic on X is somebody saying "fuck Ukraine." Okay, well, yeah, not a surprise. This says, I see Fund Ukraine is trending. To all the neocons who keep pissing our tax dollars away on a proxy war that Ukraine has no choice of winning or no chance of winning, go fuck yourselves. If you want Ukraine to win so bad, then get your asses over there and send your money. Well, you know, they could set up a GoFundMe for Ukraine. And then everyone who wants to fund Ukraine could fund Ukraine. Good morning, Nano and Patio Furniture and Lord Stanhope. I see you in the chat. Welcome. And then anyone who really thinks it's important to fund Ukraine could give their own money to Ukraine and not just, have the government print more money. So there. Someone here says, Glenn Beck. This is Glenn Beck. Someone named Carol J. Roth, who's a best-selling New York Times best-selling author, tells me Biden is leading the charge to have the G7 seize $300 billion in frozen Russian assets to fund Ukraine. This could destroy our standing as the world's reserve currency. Holy shit! I get it, Joe. But that's a bad idea. It just is. It's just quickening the use of other currencies as the currency of oil. Good morning. Those ain't real, dude. Too. I don't get it. I don't get it. How, after Navalny's death, can members of now this is Al Franken, the former senator from my state, and very well. Okay, I shouldn't say unfunny. He's funny as a writer, but he's not that funny as a comedian. He wrote some funny things. Like, look, what's the guy the guy who did the affirmations? I thought that was a funny character, but otherwise. How, after Navalny's death, can members of Congress not vote to fund Ukraine's fight against pure evil? Because we're not at war with Russia, asshole! Did I say that out loud? I'm not really sure. Thank you, JB, donating $5 Canadian from the YouTube Super Chat saying, by the way, here you go. It's another aphorism, I think. I believe this is another aphorism. JB says, sometimes you eat the bar and sometimes the bar eats you. That's from the Big Lebowski hitchhiker thing. Just reminded me of this. Laughing. Okay, thank you very much, JB. Sometimes you eat the bar and sometimes the bar eats you. Well, yeah, and sometimes the hitchhiker you pick up picks you. Wait, that's okay. I know it's ADs, or excuse me, aphorisms you can use. Well, okay, never mind. I'm not going to say it again. Other people, let's see. Soros bots have Fund Ukraine trending, and there's another fuck Ukraine. Tristan Snell, who's definitely a Biden-supporting lefty on Twitter, who's probably gets paid to do it, with 482,000 followers, breaking. Well, this is from the 16th. Navalny's dead. Okay. Putin's top threat is now neutralized, dying mysteriously in a Siberian gulag. Just as Putin runs for his fifth term as Russian president, will the House Republicans continue to co-sign the murders of a dictator? They're not co-signing the murders of a dictator, asshole. No, that's not it. But does our treasury go to continue the death of Ukrainians? Because that's all we're doing is prolonging the war. Good morning, Phantom Dog Fart, the greatest name on the internet. So anyway, Travis here, why would we fund Ukraine's border security and not America's security? This is because this is Travis Flint responding to Chuck, the smarmy prick from New York, Schumer, who says you did. Okay. Here's Chuck Schumer. Ukraine is dangerously low on supplies. If America doesn't send aid to Ukraine with this national security bill, Putin is all too likely to succeed. The only right answer to this threat is for the Senate to face it down unflinchingly by passing this national security bill ASAP. Whose national security? Chuck, the smarmy prick from New York? Whose national security? That's the thing. I mean, I get it. If we had just giant surpluses and we're 37, 80 million trillion in debt, I could explain it. But I like the idea of maybe perhaps Mr. Zelensky going to all his European neighbors and asking for money, because I think we've more than done our share. Good morning, Now What Studios. My friend Wu from high school, Nano's in the house, and Aaron Meredith. Hello to all of you. Ha! I love that. I love saying Chuck the smarmy prick from New York, Schumer. Mitch McConnell. This asshole also. Because I'm sure he has some investments or family investments in Ukraine, just like Mitt Romney and Nancy Pelosi and Joe Biden and all these other assholes. Mitch McConnell, the world will end if we do not fund Ukraine. Today, the future of the world is in question. U.S. strength is in doubt. No! U.S. strength is not in doubt because we're not fucking at war with them. Hello, Jimmy Das Hotep. How you doing? Mitch was among the 22 Republicans to vote for the $95 billion with the B aid package. Okay. And they think we're going to fall for it. Close the fucking border or shut down the government. Not another cent to fund Ukraine or Israel. The Constitution was written for assholes like this. So anyway, Fund Ukraine is trending. Yippee. Now, I mentioned GoFundMe earlier. Like I said, all these Fund Ukraine motherfuckers, if you want to fund Ukraine and you're just going to scream about it on the internet, feel free to start a GoFundMe for Ukraine, and then you can contribute all the millions of dollars that you want. But, unfortunately, these same assholes are right now calling for a boycott of GoFundMe. And, of course, you can guess why. Apparently, and I'll just start with this one right here. Boycott GoFundMe. This is one of the, it's trending on Twitter. I just donated to 2 causes and requested my money back, stating that I don't use platforms. They did a typo here, and people writing the wrong words on Twitter is not unusual. The fines of a tax evading rapist. I suggest everyone else do the same. Sorry for the people with real problems, but I wouldn't take GoFundMe dollars now that it's tainted. Apparently, there's a GoFundMe set up by somebody for Donald John Trump. And I believe this is it right here. Even though this illegal GoFundMe account, even though this illegal GoFundMe account should be taken down by said company and all money's refunded, I just now went into it and it's still up and grifting. GoFundMe is obviously allowing their basic rules of engagement to be broken. The DNC might as well start an account. No one is at the helm. Now, so apparently there's a Stand With Trump fund GoFundMe account for the $355 million unjust, I agree, judgment, and they've raised about $60,000 of the $355 million goal set up by Elena Cardone, who's, I believe, Grant Cardone's wife. Now, what's interesting is GoFundMe has replied to a bunch of these people bitching about this and said that it does not violate their terms of service, mainly because I guess it's not a criminal trial. Hello, Anon. What's up? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, and. So, but anyway, there's people saying, someone here says, let me get this right. When boycott GoFundMe is set up for conservative issues, it's bad. But when it's set up for liberal issues, it's good. The hypocrisy in this country has reached an all-time high. And someone here says, boycott GoFundMe? I just made my second donation. And oh, here's this. Trump, because fuck you. That's why. So anyway, lots of people pissed off. And GoFundMe responds to calls to shut down Donald Trump's fundraiser. Jalen Drummond, the director of public affairs, told Newsweek this fundraiser is currently within our terms of service. So there you go. Here's from Newsweek. GoFundMe, here, full screen there. GoFundMe responds to calls to shut down Donald Trump fundraiser. GoFundMe has responded to concerns a page set up for Donald Trump was after Donald Trump was fined in a civil fraud judgment is a breach of the platform rules. Speaking to Newsweek, a spokesman for the platform confirmed that the page, which was set up for the former president on Friday following Judge Arthur N. Moron's ruling that Trump will have to pay roughly $355 million in penalties for fraud, was within the terms of services, despite people voicing their concerns about it on social media. On Friday, it was ruled that Trump and top executives of the Trump Organization committed fraud by inflating the value of their assets to obtain more favorable terms from lenders and insurers. This is probably going to get overturned. The lawsuit, blah, 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 blah. Anyway, Elena Cardone, wife of real estate businessman Grant Cardone, made the GoFundMe page titled "Stand with Trump" to fund the $355 million unjust judgment. So I doubt if they're going to get $355 million on GoFundMe. But right now, since it started, it brought in around $414,000 in donations at the time of writing on the morning of February 19th. So I'm curious. Now I'm curious. Where? I want to see where it's at now. Where is it? Here it is. GoFundMe page. Let's see where it's at now. No, that's another article. I want to see where it is. Hang on a second. Hold the phone. Let's see where this GoFundMe page is at. And see, because they were at 84,000. 639,000 there. Holy shit. Where is it? I'm in the wrong work. If I were a bank, I could convince people to give me $10,000 for my legal fees when I finished frauding. Well, dipshits, the people who are donating this probably don't agree with your sorry ass. Sorry. Where is it? I just want to. Why did they give in? I think GoFundMe would never see another dime from yours truly ever again. So people are talking about boycotting GoFundMe. I do not understand this tactic, especially the people tweeting boycott GoFundMe, because if $355 million actually raised, GoFundMe will keep about $12.3 million for the processing. I don't see anyone with a link to this GoFundMe. Hang on. Our Daily Krasenstein. I'll do it in the voice of Brian Krasenstein. I'm tired of all the boycotts and cancel culture. Stop calling for people to boycott GoFundMe merely because they are allowing a campaign to exist, which you don't like. Stop also trying to boycott New York because a judge independently decided that Trump should be fined for fraud. Boycotting everything and canceling everyone leads us all to a much less productive society. Let's start building bridges together rather than tearing them down. Now, let's see how well my imitation of Brian Krasenstein is.
Can we please just boycott boycotts and canceling? I think America would be better off.
I'm not that far off, am I? Okay. All right, next. Yeah, not similar, but not the same. Yeah, the truckers are boycotting New York. Okay, moving on. A lot of people were mad yesterday because when Yulia Navalnaya, the wife of Navalny, set up a Twitter page or X page, the account got suspended. And so lots of people are bitching at Elon Musk. I saw it. Where is it? Here's it. Having ignored all the miserable nonsense-filled propaganda-related conspiracy accounts on this platform, Twitter X has decided instead to suspend the account of Yulia Navalnaya, wife of Alexei Navalny. Here's another. Hey, Elon Musk, please explain exactly which rules were violated by Yulia Navalnaya. X suspended Yulia Navalnya's account, which she created after the death of her husband, allegedly for violating the platform rules. Anyway, and then another Daily Cressy breaking. It appears Alexei Navalny's widow, Yulia Navalnaya, has just been suspended on the X platform. The account in question did appear to be legit and was set up yesterday. She made a few posts, including one video of confronting Vladimir Putin, as well as the video of her mother-in-law demanding that Putin return her son Navalny's body. I see a lot of posts attacking X for this, but we don't know yet the circumstances or reason around the suspension. It would be nice to hear a statement from X, though. Now, it was her. It was absolutely her, and here's why it was suspended. And Ian Miles Chung must have talked to Elon or something. When Yulia Navalnya's account was briefly suspended, it was because too many people followed her newly made account all at once. It triggered the spam filter, contrary to the claims being made by the liberal circle jerk. Elon did not personally ban her at Putin's request. Grow a brain. And I'll add a qualifier. Assholes! So anyway, what happens on X, if too many people follow account too quickly, they see it as a spam and it gets into the filter and gets suspended temporarily. If you, let's say you follow too many people, like you just personally, your account, if you follow too many people at once, it will suspend your account. If you unfollow too many people at once, it will suspend your account because it looks like it ends up looking like bot activity. So that's why the count is back up. In fact, here it is. Open a new link in a tab. If you want to follow Yulia Navalnaya, you can follow her on X. She has 172,000 followers already, and she's only following one person. Let's see who she's following. She's following her husband, her husband's old account. So there you go. So her account is back up and running. And again, people were pissed off because Elon was trending, because, of course, they thought Elon is doing that on behalf of Putin. So, all right, moving on. I'm really not getting through this very fast. I only have one topic that I really want to talk about anyway, so we'll get to that in just a bit, and we'll read Gunfox's article too. Julian Assange is trending because today is the day that the court in, I guess, Great Britain is going to determine whether or not they're going to allow him to be extradited. Lots of people talking about that. Caitlin Johnson, who's been on this topic a lot, crazy to think that we could be a day away from seeing Julian Assange whisked away and disappeared from public view for the rest of his life because he committed the crime of doing good journalism. I'm kind of at the point where he is so notable, notorious, whatever, that if he is extradited to the United States to go to trial, I think he'll be acquitted, personally. Now, except the only problem is they'll probably put him in a DC jury. And again, DC, it's hard to get a fair trial because juries basically fly with the political winds, and the current administration is not a fan of Julian Assange. So that would be the only thing I could see. Good morning, Amazing Disgrace, by the way. So, we'll see what happens there, but that's why he's trending. Also trending, Capital One is trending. Apparently Capital One is about to acquire the entire Discover brand. Capital One is buying Discover for... Oh, center that. No, that is centered. Buying Discover for $35 billion in a deal that combines major U.S. credit card companies. Now, I remember Discover used to be part of the Sears financial network when they first came out, and then they kind of became its own entity. And I don't know if they're having like, I don't know, I don't want to say money problems. It's a credit card company. Hello, Resolute Germ, by the way. But anyway, under the terms of the all-stock transaction, Discover Financial shareholders will receive Capital One shares valued at nearly $140 a share. That's a significant premium to the $110 that Discover shares closed at Friday. So if you have the stock in Discover, you're happy about this deal. It marries two of the largest credit card companies that aren't banks first, like JP Morgan Chase or Citigroup, with the notable exception of American Express. So anyway, that's a pretty big freaking deal for those guys. So yippee. I don't know if that's good or bad for your portfolio. Doesn't do shit for me. Although I have a Chase card. Anyway, I only have one credit card, Chase. My wife has 4, but I have 1. Vizio is trending also because Vizio, the television maker, is being bought out by Walmart. Walmart agrees to buy the smart television. Well, is that an oxymoron? A smart television? I don't know why I'm going to just go full screen all the time. And it said Roku stock plunging. I don't know if that means anything. I hope it doesn't make Roku go out of business. We use Roku. Walmart has agreed to pay $2.3 billion to acquire smart television maker Vizio in a move to bolster the retailer's burgeoning advertising business as it takes on rival Amazon. The deal, however, is seen as bad news for Roku. According to analysts, Roku, which also sells smart TVs and streaming devices, has an exclusive deal with Walmart to sell products fulfilled by Walmart on Roku devices. Well, I would think just maybe, Roku, who has this deal with Walmart, might end up putting their Roku shit on Vizio TVs. So we'll see what happens. But it did send Roku stock plunging. So you're happy if you have stock in Discover, but not happy if you have stock in Roku. Hello, Linda Hunter. Welcome to the show. Nice to see you over in the chat. Also trending, Jim Caviezel and Robert De Niro trending. Apparently this is an actor spat. Someone says, start today with a laugh. Jim Caviezel refuses to work with Robert De Niro because of his left-wing background and extremism. What's your reaction? Well, people on the left are making fun of Jim Caviezel. You know what Jim Caviezel is, right? He's Jesus. He's Jesus. But he doesn't get a ton of work anyway, and Robert De Niro obviously is a big name, but Robert De Niro is an asshole. So whatever. Lots of people are like, who the fuck is Jim Caviezel? Well, you know, what was it called? Wasn't he Jesus in The Last Temptation of Christ? Or was that somebody? No, that was William Dafoe. Which Jesus movie was Jim Caviezel Jesus? He was a Superman at one point too, wasn't he? I think he was a Superman. Anyway, whatever. That's trending. Also Robert De Niro's trending for the same reason, so that's enough of that. Kid Rock is trending. I have no idea why. Oh, because Kid Rock and Jason Aldean have canceled their shows in New York. Also, there's a trucker strike in New York where a lot of truckers are saying they're the Passion of the Christ. What Jim Caviezel was. That's right. And a lot of people are making the same joke about that. Kid Rock, I'm canceling my New York shows. New York City, who the fuck is Kid Rock? Well, you know who Kid Rock is. But so anyway, they announced that they're canceling their shows in New York because of the Trump judgment, whatever. So that's why they're trending. The New York Police Department is trending mainly because in one of the migrant holding shelters, whatever, there was a case where some New York police officers were attacked. A lot of people talking about that. Also, though, people are talking about the New York Police Department dance team, which has been getting roasted online after showing off their dance team as illegal aliens overrun the Big Apple. So a whole lot of people talking about the New York Police Department dance team. It was awful, and I don't know if there's any more links to it. But in the same vein, a bunch of illegal aliens were attacking New York City police officers, and instead of being grateful and being taken in, given all the freebies, so they're saying they should deport all these people. And so that's why people are talking about that. All right, let's get to the main topic now. Oh, wait, one more. Sorry. Slight is trending. The word slight, and people are laughing at the word slight, mainly because of this article right here. COVID vaccines linked to a slight increase in heart, brain, and blood disorders, according to a study. And people are making fun of the word slight being used in the sentence. Oh, there we go again. I have to fix this one of these days. I'll just go full screen. COVID vaccines from companies like Pfizer, Moderna, and AstraZeneca have been linked to rare occurrences of heart, brain, and blood disorders. According to the largest vaccine study to date, researchers at the Global Vaccine Data Network analyzed 99 million people who received jabs in 8 countries and monitored for increases in 13 medical conditions. Bloomberg News reported the study, which was published in the Journal of Vaccines last week. The journal's called Vaccine. Found that the vaccines were linked to a slight, that's the word that's trending, slight spike in neurological, blood, and heart-related medical conditions. Shocker. A rare cases of myocarditis, inflammation of the heart muscle, were found in the first, second, and third doses of Pfizer and BioNTech's and Moderna mRNA vaccines. Meanwhile, a first and fourth dose of Moderna jab had a 1.7-fold and 2.6-fold increased risk, respectively. Increased risk was also identified of a type of blood clot in the brain from a viral vector shot, such as the one developed by the University of Oxford and manufactured by AstraZeneca, Bloomberg said. There was a 2.5 times greater risk of developing Guillain-Barré syndrome, a rare neurological disorder in which the immune system attacks the nerves among people who received AstraZeneca's jab, according to the study. So, I guess my initial reaction to this is, duh. Like, we already knew this. But I could get in trouble for misinformation. So I'll just stop talking about it. It's in the New York Post. It's a story right here, New York Post. I didn't make this up. Yaren Steinbach wrote the article for the New York Post. So there you go. I'm just saying. So let's get to the main topic now, because the only really topic that I knew I wasn't going to have time because it was late today. So let's start with Gunfox's article, and then the 2 articles that I want to touch on, which are about the same topic, and then I'll just give you the list of everything else. So this is from Gunfox61 sent me this. Thank you, sir. I appreciate you always sending me some cool stuff, and this is definitely cool. And this is kind of good news. The battleship New Jersey has announced its departure date. The battleship New Jersey is scheduled to leave its dock on Camden's waterfront on Thursday, March 21st. The museum announced Thursday morning that the ship will take to the Delaware River for the first time in 2 decades. The vessel will move downstream to the Philadelphia Navy Yard for dry docking and maintenance. Dry docking involves exposing typically submerged parts of the ship, like the hull, in a shipyard for cleaning, inspection, or repair. Navy regulations require decommissioned vessels be dry docked for maintenance every 20 years, but the USS New Jersey has lapsed for over 30 years since its last dry dock. The longer we kick the can down the road, the more expensive the project becomes, so we've begun pushing to do it now, Marshall Spivak, the museum's interim CEO, said in a January interview with the Courier Post. During dry dock, the 887-foot-long ship will receive coatings to protect this and seal its hull. Workers will also inspect and replace some of the 1,200 zinc anodes that protect the hull from corrosion. Though he declined to share what portion of the $10 million fundraising total has been reached in January, Spivak said that the project has received $5 million from the state last year. The museum is finalizing a bond transaction of the $3.25 million in conjunction with the Camden County Improvement Authority and TD Bank, and is also in receipt of a $750,000 matching grant from the New Jersey Historic Trust. So that is one of the ships that's getting its scheduled maintenance a little bit late, but better late than never. A lot of these battleships have become kind of museum pieces and whatever. And I know that when we were in Hawaii, we went and visited the USS Missouri, and I was in complete awe of being on that ship, being on the spot where the Pacific officers and the Japanese, people signed the end of the war, end of World War II on that side of the front. So if you ever get a chance to tour one of these battleships, they're really cool. They really are. They're amazing ships, and good for them. Now, main topic of the day, our department, speaking of security, I suppose. So the Department of Homeland Security had developed a program for students, I guess for high school students or students in grade school, on media literacy. And if that sounds strange to you, why the Department of Homeland Security would come up with such a program? Well, there's this whistleblower in Rhode Island that was part of the schools who's written an article about it, and it's very interesting. So here, this is an illegal insurrection. Ramona Bessinger is the author of this article, and I want to go through it because there's just things that are really disturbing here. And the title of the article is DHS, the Department of Homeland Security, is training teachers to develop student disinformation informers. As in, what do they call those kids during prior to World War II in that place with the guy with the funny mustache? Like the brown shirt kids or whatever. And she says, I know, I took the training. DHS media literacy has little to do with media or literacy. It's a K-12 surveillance program with the goal of training teachers and students to identify and report on alleged disinformation and alleged violent extremism. This is the teacher. So, and this is she wrote it in the first person, so bear with me. She says, I am a Providence, Rhode Island high school teacher. You may remember me from when I blew the whistle in July 2021 on how a new critical race curriculum was creating racial hostility in the middle school where I taught at the time, and the subsequent retaliation and harassment. And they have links to those articles in this article. I'm blowing the whistle again, this time as to the Department of Homeland Security funding for training of teachers on combating so-called disinformation. As part of a supposed media literacy programming through the University of Rhode Island called Courageous Rhode Island. In fact, I think I'll open the link to this because I'm curious. This might be something Scribe would want to talk about. Courageous. Oh, here it is. Courageous Rhode Island community conversations to counter disinformation, enhance civic participation. Shut up. And improve media literacy. So that's the program that we're talking about here. Maybe we'll go take a look at that too. The training is not what it purports to be. It's not about training teachers to teach students to become disinformation. Oh, no, it's all about training teachers to teach students to become disinformation informers. I know, I took the training. Starting in September 2023, I attended a 12-week online training through Courageous Rhode Island at the University of Rhode Island, funded by a Department of Homeland Security grant of over $700,000. The program is for K through 12 teachers and is promoted as a media literacy program. But it's so much more than the media literacy. And the impact of the training turned to teacher interaction with students and how students could be utilized as a reporting source. Oh, yay! I'm about to tell you what I witnessed and what this taxpayer-funded, quote, disinformation, end quote, training is all about. What follows are a lot of the details, but the bottom line is that that's supposed to be, it is a direct attack. But the bottom line is that, there's a typo here. It is a direct track from media literacy theory to DHS goals and objectives to URI training whatever that is, to teachers and students, and back again up to the chain in a feedback loop. It's dangerous to our society, and it shows how something claimed to protect freedom has the potential to damage freedom. What follows is a background on media literacy and disinformation ideology, how it is a DHS focus, and some of what I experienced in the course. It's long, but necessary. Oh, it is long, isn't it? Holy shit, this is really long. Well, we'll get some of it, and then we'll skip and check out the actual site from Rhode Island. We'll just you get the gist of it, and you can read the rest. All right, here it is. In order to understand the DHS Courageous Rhode Island Report approach and training, it's important to understand the ideological foundations of media literacy. The idea of media literacy made its way into K through 12 schools as a solution to combat perceived disinformation and violent extremism. Both terms are defined as a result of children being exposed to, quote, disinformation, end quote, while at school. According to the Courageous Rhode Island website, the inspiration for the Courageous Rhode Island program comes from an essay titled, quote, Learning to Avoid Extremism by Sigal Ben-Porath, an education theorist. Learning to Avoid Extremism. We'll open this one up too. In her essay, Sigal calls for schools to respond to a rise in extremist ideologies and actions. Gee, let's pause for a second. What do you think? In the chat, tell me, how do you think they would define extremism? Violent extremism. How do you think they would define that? This Sigal, whatever her name is. Sigal, blah, blah, blah. Respond to a rise in extremist ideologies and actions. Okay, so both terms are defined as a result of children being exposed to disinformation while at school, while the courageous blah, blah, blah. The inspiration for the Courageous Rhode Island program comes from an essay. Okay. In her essay, Sigal calls for schools to respond to a rise in extremist ideologies and actions, even though she provides no data to support the claim. The claim made by the Department of Homeland Security, Courageous Rhode Island, and Sigal Ben-Porath is that domestic acts of terrorism have their roots in information shared to children from literary sources, textbooks, media, and school culture. Here's a quote. What should this similarity tell us in terms of our expectations of teachers? If teachers are expected to identify extremist patterns of thought and belief, both cases I describe here could potentially represent students caught up in the net, and there is good reason to identify these students, and they both seem to veer off from reality and toward a misguided, unfounded, and at least potentially antisocial view. Oh, my. Now, this quote from Sigal Ben-Porath attempts to justify classroom monitoring of any student who may veer off from reality. Wow. That would describe most of the trans kids, wouldn't it? Oh, I'm sorry. I'm not supposed to say that. But who should judge what is a mere opinion versus disinformation. This sort of subjective judgment is exactly what public school teachers never should do. The beginning of Siegel's Ben Porath's essay provides Courageous Rhode Island with the theory they use to justify their teacher training. So here's the theory. Democracies are calling on schools to respond to a rise in extremist ideologies and actions. What democracies? I don't remember voting. Do you remember voting on this, Johnny? I don't remember voting on this. But let me continue. I'm sorry. In this article, Siegel Ben Porath situates the rise of extremism with the broader context of political polarization. Well, which part of that polarization is the extremist? To Siegel, she suggests that the latter is a more appropriate target for school intervention than the former. She further suggests that addressing polarization can result in a reduction in extremism, and that polarization can be addressed by refocusing the use of existing teaching and learning tools rather than by instituting new forms of intervention, such as the PREVENT strategy used in the UK. Tackling polarization through media literacy and the development of democratic habits can help rectify false beliefs. Oh my goodness. Your opinion is a false belief. You're not allowed to think that, is what she's saying, I think. Maybe. Which contribute both to broad political polarization and to individual slide towards extremism. Focusing on strengthening knowledge as well as social ties can fortify individuals' and communities' resilience against extremism, as well as build bridges and connect people to a sense of shared fate across political divides. These practices are more effective and more justified than targeting individual students who are suspected of holding radical beliefs. Oh my God. So they're basically teaching how people and parents, they're teaching kids how to be thought police. Thank you, Horatio Nelson, for sponsoring the show on Streamlabs. Dropping a deuce. The tip jar says, thoughts on the media running total cover on the two N-bombs, love you, P-Dog, that committed the drive-by mass shooting in my town of Kansas City. Mayor Lucas is saying the governor needs to step down because he's called them thugs. KCPD stonewalling all info. Yeah, that situation, insane. Notice how that story disappeared. Hello, Horatio Nelson, by the way. Dropping N-bombs in my super chats. Holy shit. But anyway, yeah, that's that whole situation's fucked up. I might talk about that tomorrow because it's kind of funny how all the mass shooting talk just disappeared now that we know what actually happened. And so that, usually they talk about that kind of shit for days. So anyway, what Siegel Ben Porath is suggesting here is justifying teams of teachers and support staff to surround any child who they feel pose a threat. But what happens once a child is identified as extremist? Well, naturally, any child identified as an extremist would want to please their teachers, therefore abandoning their pattern of disinformation and violent extremist views for the accepted viewpoint. The student then becomes a member of the accepted in-group and may in fact help in identifying other children and teachers that are seen as extreme. Basically, it's a giant tattletale program. It's a tattletale. Holy shit. I'm gonna leave you to read more on that article. But here's the Reader's Digest version in PJ Media. So, say what you will about evil progressives who are destroying this country, but you cannot deny that they have been they've been good at playing the long game. Over decades, they've invaded the institution upon which this country is built, stripping them down brick by brick and rebuilding them according to Karl Marx's blueprints. Radical leftists realized early on the critical importance of taking over education systems. It's far easier to take over a well-established nation and recreate it by raising future generations to believe their ideology beginning at a young age. Schools were once institutions where children went to learn to be productive citizens who contributed to society. Now they are indoctrination centers. The educator from Rhode Island is now speaking out about a Department of Homeland Security funded program that supposedly promotes teaching media literacy and fighting against disinformation, but she says it's really designed to indoctrinate children. And they go to the beginning of this article. The Courageous Rhode Island website reveals that it admits to accepting funds from the Department of Homeland Security, going on to add work to prevent rising violence and extremism in Rhode Island with authentic and respectful conversations. Yes, you will think what we think and respect us, or you will be considered an extremist. Now, if an organization is contributing materials designed to educate kids and it's receiving funds from the federal government, you can bet your ass that there is an agenda at play. They said bottom dollar, but I said ass. We know that individuals with radical ideologies have infiltrated major agencies within the government, as we've seen from the weaponization of our FBI against conservatives and former President Donald Trump. Confront the many forms of disinformation, hoaxes, and propaganda that are part of everyday life. Experience the practical power of strategies for critically analyzing media messages that shape public opinion about education. Consider the power of media literacy as a civic skill and examine how people of all ages learn to spot disinformation and hoaxes. The Courageous Conversations curriculum goes on to say. And again, during her training, Benzinger, who identifies as conservative, said Courageous Rhode Island was hyper-focused on former President Donald Trump, pointing to him as the root cause of all social media and media misinformation, and inspiring violent extremism, citing January 6th, while ignoring left-wing extremism. Oh, shocker. Here's a quote, in the breakout sessions and project sessions, some teachers complained about their students with opposing views. According to one facilitator, these students were part of the, quote, outer group, end quote, and would need to be brought back into the inner group. Oh my gosh, they don't believe what we believe. We must force them to believe what we believe. Hello, Andrew Thorsten, by the way. Specifically, conservative students that may have outwardly expressed support for Trump. These students were considered violent extremist MAGA Republicans in the making. At every juncture, Trump was attacked and used to make the point that violent extremism and disinformation were a result of influencing entrepreneurs like Trump. When I asked for specific examples illustrating their point, none were forthcoming. So, the folks who designed this curriculum are not even attempting to hide their obvious bias. It blatantly accuses Trump, along with Republican elites, of utilizing conspiracy theories. Now, I'm not a genius, but that seems slanted, don't you think? Shouldn't children be taught how to engage the world critically? Why not provide examples of how leftists push conspiracy theories? You know, like the Russian collusion hoax? Oh, God, well, no, we would not want to talk about that. So the curriculum, and this is in the curriculum. Listen, this is in the curriculum. Listen carefully. The last 5 years have witnessed Republican elites in government and media, most notably Donald Trump, utilizing conspiracy theories in a way unprecedented in the last half century of American politics, and with severe deleterious consequences for democratic institutions. This alone has encouraged renewed conjecture about an asymmetry in conspiracy theory beliefs. However, elites are an imperfect reflection of the public. They have different goals, incentives, and knowledge about politics. Moreover, elite rhetoric rarely changes predispositions, such as conspiracy thinking, so much as it activates predispositions and connects them to salient political choices. In other words, while Republican elites may have recently activated conspiratorial predispositions among supporters in the mass public, where they exist, in a way that Democratic elites did not, they are unlikely to be able to cause once non-conspiratorial supporters to become highly conspiratorial. So only the Republicans can be conspiratorial. That's what they're saying. Later on, Bezier lobs a few accusations at her own courageous Rhode Island, stating they are co-opting the Say Something anonymous reporting system that was originally established to receive warnings about potential acts of terrorism or school shooter suspects into some kind of surveillance of political speech at the school level. Several other programs, such as News ELA, which stands for News English Language Arts, already encourages teachers and educators to start incorporating news reports and current events articles into what is taught in the classroom. Now, any guesses which news sources are being used to supply teachers and educators with material for their classes? Well, according to Bezinger, the program aggregates left-wing progressive news stories. Oh, shocker! When you are told a lie for long enough, you begin to believe it is truth. That is why leftists want to constantly bombard kids with their worldview. Over 12 years, roughly 40 hours a week, starting at kindergarten, children are being taught how to look at the world, our culture, our history through the lens of a progressive. It isn't any wonder young people are entering the adult world so liberal. It is really hard to undo the damage from that much exposure to progressivism. So, yeah, duh. So they're basically the Department of Homeland Security is paying to indoctrinate kids in our school systems. And hey, what is this called? Courageous Rhode Island. This little website right here is part of the problem. So, anyway, feelings and facts. Wow, did Ben Shapiro write this section? Anyway, all right, guys. There are a ton of articles in the links today that I'm not even going to tell you what they are. You got to look at them yourself. I'm going to drop them in the chat. In the one tab link, one page, get one link, gets you to all of them. And I'll just tell you right now, one of them in the Daily Wire video, trans controversy erupts when girls' basketball games ends in forfeit following 3 injuries. Can you guess what happened there? I'll just do this. And that's it. That's the article. It's the last article on the list today. And on that note, I got to go. So thank you for joining me today on the Morning Night Live. I appreciate the sponsors today. Gunfox 61, Kara Soldier, Zed the Snarky, Amorphisms you can use. JB and Horatio Nelson. Gunfox, you are the Streamlabs Superstar sponsor of the day. Thanks everybody for joining us in the chat. Look, hit the like button before you go. Share the stream after the show and let people know that you watched this today and it was pretty fucking good. And that's it. I gotta go. Thank you. My name is P Dog Knight. Links will be in the chat in a moment. I am out of here. Have a great day. Bye-bye. Hey, this is P-Dog Knight, and thank you for watching today on the P-Dog Knight channel. If you have an observation or remark you'd like to make about this video or my channel, I absolutely welcome you to write it in the comment section down below. I really look forward to hearing from you. And before you go, if you like what you saw but you're not already subscribed, please make sure you hit the subscribe button and definitely click that bell that pops up afterwards so you'll be notified when I post new videos or when we go live. I broadcast my live show, The Morning Night Live, Monday through Friday at 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Central. A special thank you to all the supporters of this channel who share our videos on social media and who make donations through Streamlabs, YouTube, Venmo, and Cash App, which are all linked in the description down below. Thanks again, and until next time, I'm P Dog Knight, and I'm out of here.